Okay, so here we are towards the end of the mock-up. I'm going to go ahead and get this last row ran up on this rake, and then I'm going to put the metal on the top. So I'm going to put a couple of nails in the strip edge just to get it down. Been sitting there for a while. Some roof cement on it. Get it off the edge so it doesn't squeeze out when I'm stepping on it. These shingles are slightly different color. Than the originals. It's hot today. This one came off during the hurricane, so I'm just going to reuse it. So it looks like I'm about an inch up past the key, which on this shingle is right in the center of the sticker. And I got a cut too. Go ahead and put everything in place before I start nailing it. I'll nail it towards the top, and I got to nail each tab individually so they'll stay without using roof cement. And that's what I got to put in too. Just put it towards the top. I'm fixing to get wet. Okay. Definitely fixing to get wet. Either way, ready for the cap metal, and I'm going to have to pick this up at a later time. Okay, we're back. Yesterday was definitely a washout. So now what we want to do is we want to put some metal on top here. So basically this is a standard piece of drip edge here. Stock drip, store-bought drip, and it's T-metal, as you can see. I think you can see. This is a custom piece that I made. It's what we call square broke drip, and I made a 3-inch or 3.5-inch face. Or did I? I made it a week ago. It's 3.5-inch face. Now, one of the things, if you've seen the other videos, is I left the T overhanging because I didn't know what I was going to do. That was a long time ago when I did that, possibly almost a year ago. So when I said I didn't know what I was going to do, I wasn't kidding. However, I knew that I was going to run metal of some sort. So we've got two options. As you can see, I ran the nails a little high, nothing out of the ordinary. So I'm just going to test leaving the T and using the standard grip. So I'm just going to put it on and see how it matches up with my T's. So it matches up okay. But my face is out a little bit. So it's not going to match up exactly where I want it. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and trim those T's off, because now I have the drip edge and 2 layers of shingles to try to match up to, whereas down there it was drip on drip, so it matched up really good. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim that off to where it's flush. There it is. Okay, so it's more or less flush now. One thing to consider is where it's going to line up. Are you going to fasten the face of the drip right here? Are you going to fasten that to keep it in, or are you going to leave it out so it's loose? Where are you going to put it? Because you can get a nail in the tab back here, but then what are you going to do with this? Are you going to put aluminum fascia on it or that sort of thing? Because if that's the case and you still need to slip something under, you really don't want to be nailing over here. So now I'm going to put this on, and it's going to be a little different because now it's going to match right up because there's no T to block it in the way. But since I've got this 2-layer shingles here, you're going to have a little bit of a gap here. Now that I've got these 2 layers of shingles here, you're going to have a little difference between this edge and this edge because these 2 pieces are the same. So looking at it like that, you can go ahead and do that. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and look into putting this custom made piece on. Okay, so now let's look at this custom piece. Alright, no matter what I do, it matches up pretty good. Actually, my custom piece is just a little bit longer, which is even better. Definitely looking good. Okay, so now how would I install this? It's basically on. The metal covers up my nails and on top of this shingle, so I'm basically waterproof once I put this on. So what I want to do with this, typically, I don't miter this cut. What I like to do with this cut is I like to hang it over about a 1/2 inch, give it something that I can either put a caulk bead on or something of that sort. So what I'll do, since I lost my scribe, I'm going to take a nail and scribe it where I want it. And then even with this playing a little bit, I still have an overlap here. So I'm just going to scribe it just to see where I'm at. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it right on that mark. Just kind of a straight cut, nothing super fancy. And then I'm going to meet this just at a slight angle. So now I need to put this back where I want it, which basically is even with the T or just past it. Okay, so you see there's a little bit of a holiday here, which I can fill with caulk. I can put a bead of caulk here, bead of caulk here, bead of caulk here, because this is more or less a cap. So I'm letting that overhang just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and go scribe this other side. I got that one where I want it. Now where I scribed it, actually I left it overhang. So I scribed it and then I left it overhang. So now when I'm on this side, I don't want to cut my scribe. I want to cut about a 1/2 inch past my scribe. You can always trim it if you cut too much. You can trim it. And that's typically what you do. Cut it bigger and then continue to trim it until you get it right where you want it. You can also do it in 2 pieces. You can also go back and rivet that together, so there's no wrong way to do it. All you want to do is cover. Okay, it's basically in place. So I want to trim this side a little bit, about a 1/4 inch or so. So I'm just going to keep the same angle. Just trimming a 1/4 inch off. Pretty much where I want it. So not a whole lot's overhanging on either side, just right where the T is. Okay, so no matter what you do, there's 2 ways to go from here. Either we nail it off with roofing nails, and you can either cover the roofing nails with roofing cement, caulk, whatever you want to do, as a finished surface. You can use neoprene screws, which we typically use for metal roofs. And again, that's finished. Some people are going to want a more finish, and that's going to be a shingle finish. So the way that we would do that is cut right along the top of that key, so that all of them are the same. Sometimes it's easier to go turn it over and maybe cut right along this line with a straight edge, or a straight blade, sorry. with a straight blade, and then you got a line to go by. It's a little bit taller than I would like it, but now then this is what's going to finish that off. I can still keep my keys, but I'm going to have a short row here, but you're going to see the color of the shingles. Pay no attention to the different colors of shingles. This is all I could get my hands on at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and finish it like this. So I'm still going to nail it with roofing. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to squeeze the corners just a little bit. So I'm more or less ready to put it in. Caulk is a good sealant here, because I'm not going to seal it all the way across. I'm only going to seal it on the corner, because that's really what I'm concerned about at the moment. You could set it in caulk. You could run a bead of roofing cement across here if you wanted to and set it in roofing cement. I'm just going to do it on the very corner here. Just to get that top corner is all I really want to do to seal it. And I'm going to come back after the fact and seal it as well. Now, of course, this is going to make a little bit of a mess, but I can deal with it. Okay. So now I don't want to slide it. I want to try to put it right where it's supposed to go. Oop. Okay, so I'm going to set it with a nail. I just want to be medium tightness. Now, one of the things when I'm nailing it, I don't want to nail right here, because that's where my key is. So I just want to stay away from there. And I'm going to nail it. I'm going to nail it about an inch up or so. So now I'm setting it. So I don't want to just start nailing it off. I put one set nail in it there. I'm going to put another set nail in it over here. Oh, there we go again. To put it where I want. And you can even put nails up here, kind of stagger them to keep it down. I've got a little butt going on in my mock-up here. So now I want to nail it off. So you can see this buck here, but I can put a rivet in there when the job's all done and make that go away. That was why I didn't fix it. Recycle. Watch out. Okay. So now typically what I would do in this situation is I'm going to put my shingles up there. Now on a really steep roof, you're going to want to fasten these after you put roof cement. So it looks like I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. So I'm just going to the top of the keys here. I want to go ahead and have all my cuts and everything ready to go before I start messing with roof cement. I want to try to use the finished edge down and the cut edge up. Now you're going to end up fixing these again because you want to get the keys straight. You can already see I'm off a little bit right there because I got a little bit too much space right there. And this is, again, one way to finish it. It depends on your customer. Some customers want to see shingle, others want to see metal. You can put hems in the metal to make it stronger. You can make the backside bigger. There's many different ways you can make that custom metal there. So I think I might wait to cut this. So where I want my roofing cement is just to the other side. We're not trying to seal this seam in this case. What we're trying to do is stick these to this while we're sealing these nails. Then these will stick here and they'll stay there forever and ever. But again, if you have a steeper slope, you're going to want to put fasteners in. And I'll put fasteners in one or two just to show you what I would do in that case. Now this is where you're on finished roof territory here, so you just want to be careful. This is how you get the bull everywhere, the roof cement. So you just want to take your time, get a nice bead, get your flow going. My can of roof cement has been through the mill, so as you can see, I'm not really concerned about getting onto the shingle. I'm really just adhering that tab. You hear guys saying you're not building a piano. Well, you're in the finished area, so you kind of are building a piano right here, because you don't want to get roof cement everywhere if you can help it. And they do have roof cement in the tube, and in this case roof cement in the tube would not be a bad idea. You just want a nice thick bead. This is a good time to go over any holidays. You just want to get it so it never comes off. I'm going to leave the ends until I cut the shingle. You can also apply roof cement to the back. Okay, so here we go. Just going to stick it on there like that. And as you can see, I put this one upside down, so we don't want to do that too many times. So all we want to do is try to get those keys to line up to make it look good. And we're just going to continue to put them down, put them just where they go, and kind of give them a tap. Look at your keys. You got a straight edge. looking pretty good. All right, since this side seems to be behaving, I'll go ahead and cut this side in. So I just want to kind of cut it with the rest of the roof. Now this one, I'm going to go ahead and finish this side off. Alright, there we go. This side is not behaving at all. As you can see, it's bucking out. So one of the things that I would do is I'd put a screw in here so that I can take it back out. Maybe put another nail in it and see what happens. So what happened was, actually, there's so much time passed between my mock-up, getting my mock-up finish, it warped because we had a hurricane and we've been through, this will be the second summer, so it's been through almost a whole year of weather and it was left there unfinished. Or at least that's my excuse. I forgot to cut it. I want to cut it first. The reason I like to cut it first is to keep the roofing cement at a minimum. Guy told me one time, what makes a good painter isn't where you get the paint, it's where you don't get it. And I think that's the same with roofing. If you're messy with the roof cement, it makes the whole job look bad. So I'm just going to take the excess out. Okay. Got a little roof cement. If you get roof cement, not to fret if it won't come out. So if you get roof cement, let's say you get roof cement on the shingles here. And let's say you went too far and you got roof cement. Oh man. Big old splot of roof cement that just ruined the whole thing. Don't sweat it. The best thing to do is try to remove what you can, and while it's still fresh, put some granules in there. So just get the ball, get the gist of it up so that it's not so much. You can take a shingle, rub it back and forth, set, cover it up with granules. Sometimes you can get granules in the gutter if this was a repair. where I would put a fastener is in the metal, and make sure, and I would make sure that I was going through the roof cement with the fastener, and just get it down nice and flush. So if you were on a steeper roof, you could still put the roof cement so that seals underneath, because this is going to bond, and then you have a fastener in it so it would never ever go anywhere. Now if you wanted to go a step further, you could take some roofing cement and put it there, or some caulk, and you could always put granules in it to hide it like this, or just walk away. You could just walk away from these nails and they'd be fine for a while. So this metal bucked a little bit, which happens sometimes depending on how thick this is, or how wide this is. You can put face fasteners here, but that's if you're finished with fascia or whatever up on the So what I'm doing with this screw is I just want to try to get them to be evened up. The whole face can be screwed off. Not too bad. Got some stragglers here. Can tune those up a little bit. Hopefully that's 12 or 14 feet in the air or higher, and nobody's really going to see it. And there we are. You know, I noticed using different color shingles, now you can see what I just did. Guess it's time to build another mock-up. Now, just something to point out. This detail here is square. Normally, when you build a shed roof like this, a shed style roof, this is going to be plumb. So that would be another reason to go with a custom made cap metal. And you can see the buck here. That has to do with the waviness in my mock-up. There was a hump that developed right here over time. So when I push that down, it wants to buck out there, and that would get taken care of with a couple of face screws. Those are the neoprene screws right there. It's got a rubber washer and then a metal cover, and it's hex head. A lot easier to use than the Phillips heads. Okay, practical roofing concepts out. Okay, so trying to take care of a buck can sometimes be difficult because you don't see it until after the fact. Let's talk about if you see it beforehand. First of all, you can see this curve happening in the fascia, and you can see that when I pin the back and I pin these two sides, that the buck comes out here. One of the things that you can do if you see it beforehand, so you'll see the slight curve in the fascia, which happens on long runs, you can just split the cap metal or the drip edge and make a seam right at the height of the curve. That way it ends up taking up the buck with two pieces, and you can tighten it up. They move then independently of each other and don't create the buck. So here's a classic example of knowing beforehand. See, when I press down on one side, the other side comes up. That's how you know there's a curve. See, when I press down again, the other side goes up. That's when it's time. Now, let's say the metal's already ran and you're starting to screw this off, and this just doesn't look like it's going to go away.
you could potentially cut it, maybe staying just away from the top here, slide another piece of metal up under for waterproofing purposes, then screw it off, and then that should then take care of the buck.